Now, I don't know whether you are aware of this, but just in case you're not, holding onto the flex into your trail leg whilst you make your backswing is pretty much killing your golf swing, your body, your results, your power, your consistency. And we are going to show you why and how to fix it and what to feel instead. And the results are going to be really quite profound. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Art of Simple Golf, where we're just trying to make this game a bit better for you. For every single golfer that just wants to go out and enjoy it, hit the golf shots that they know they can, that they've done a few times, but can't do it as often as they'd like. Because this game is not as hard as it's made out to be. It's a difficult game, but we can make it more simple. And when you do, the results are dramatic, all right? So today we're talking about the trail leg. If you're a lefty, I'm sorry, I probably will keep saying the right leg because, hey, I'm a righty. But anyway, what we're discussing is the idea that has been around for a bit too long now about resisting the right side. Now, don't get me wrong, resisting with the right side has merits if you can, wind up correctly and you've got the mobility and agility and the explosive sort of power to do it. But I tell you, even if you can, more often than not, you're going to struggle to keep doing it as you get on later in life. So why not, the benefits really don't outweigh the negatives, especially when it comes to consistency and being good on the body. It's not a complicated lesson today. All we're talking about is the habit of resisting against this right side and then turning back against it. But what happens is it becomes very sort of short and static. And I'm going to exaggerate a little bit here, okay? But let's say I'm resisting with the right side. I'm going to try and not move this whatsoever. I'm not even going to turn my hips. I'm not going to turn my knee. I'm just going to try and make a sort of typical golf swing that we would see. Something like that. It feels like a lot of effort because we're sort of stuck. What happens is it's very difficult. You might see these kind of drills where it's like, okay, get the club across your chest and make that rotation. Not everyone's going to be able to do that, especially if you resist against the right side, because it takes effort in your core, in your chest, and everything sort of twisting and turning. We want sort of resistance, yes, but really we want resistance where it matters the most, when we're back at the ball. We don't want resistance here, okay? We want to be able to deliver into a good positive sort of impact and through swing, but we don't necessarily need the resistance going back, because what happens more often than not, we're too resistant here and we kind of run out of energy and then it's like that. Again, I'm exaggerating. Does this seem a little bit familiar? Let me know below. Do you either think you need to resist the backswing or you're kind of doing it on accident and it feels a bit funky and you think it's sort of hurting your backswing and your golf swing in general? Let me know below. So what do we want to do instead? We want it to be a bit freer, a bit less strain on the body, so then we can deliver a nice fluid sort of backswing and in general golf swing, okay? Very easy. All we're going to do is have a little thought here. We're just going to feel like you can even practice with a club, across your waistline here, across your hips, and notice how far are they turning. But it's not just about turning here, okay? It's also about tilting that way. Because what happens is if you sort of just turn the hips, you kind of end up too often in this kind of position where we're kind of a bit lost and it's like, all right, where do I go from here? Boof. From there, where do I go from here? Boof. That's kind of what happens. So we have to feel this. The hip goes up, but we're straightening the right leg, okay? This is not staying flexed. We are straightening the right leg. It is not snapping back. We are not hyperextending it because that's going to look something like this. It might feel that way a little bit at first, but we're just going to feel like this right hip is coming up. I don't want you to be thinking about these positions too much. This is something that just to kind of get a feel and a bit like, okay, this is giving me the right sort of movement that I want that's a bit freer. So you don't really want to be thinking about this on the golf course. Just practice now at home. Get up with me, try it. So from this position, raise the right hip. It's going to feel like it's sort of being pulled up by the belt loop this way, up there, okay? You do that, and you should, if you've done it correctly, have a little bit of air, a bit of daylight in between the legs this way. We don't want to sort of keep them level, but we also don't want them dipping down too much. We just want a slight little bit of daylight. But that is it, okay? And from this angle, you're going to feel like it's this. So we're here. It's going to help you stay a lot more centered. It's going to give you a bit more freedom, but crucially, it's also not going to it's not going to encourage, when you resist the right side, to pull the arms across. It's going to feel like the arms are staying in front of the chest and they're not crossing over. And from there, everything's just a bit more neutral. Here's the thing with golf. It's about finding your neutral. There's definitely principles that are important, but it's also understanding what you and your body can do best and what feels right. Doesn't mean things shouldn't feel a little bit awkward at first, because that's where we can elicit change to get you on the right path. But you also have to know, it's like, do I resist too much? Or if I do sort of let the hip go, if I'm straightening the leg too much, am I a bit lost over here, or am I sort of tilting down a little bit too much that way? This is where golf gets a little bit tricky, but what we're trying to do with the Art of Simple Golf and the club that we have is just refine it so you can understand it better, to know what you need to do, not just today, but this week, next month, and just keep moving on the path that is going to be effective for you. So the way you can sort of practice this is just feel like that hip is being raised. I'm just slightly straightening that leg, and my hip angle is just a little bit more tilted rather than sort of flat this way. Just practice in a mirror, whatever you need to do to try and get that sensation. And what it's going to do is give you more power, okay? Because you're going to be able to not just make a longer backswing, it's not about that. You're just going to give yourself room. You've got room to swing. Here, we don't have room to swing. Here, we have room to swing. To be able to deliver the club much easier. Instead of here, it kind of does this a little bit, right? But if we're here, we can deliver much more effortlessly, all right? So there you have it. So there you have it. Don't resist the trail leg and get an easier backswing and a much more effective through swing. If you don't have that flex, just let it straighten a little bit. Let the hip come up, let the upper body go down, and you are good to go, all right? If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. And there's some cool links down underneath to give you a free series to help you with every facet of your game. See you next time.